I'd ask everyone in attendance to rise and join council in singing O Canada. Thank you to the National Film Board of Canada for the images of our country and to our very own Grand Prairie Boys Choir for the audio rendition of our anthem. I would look for a motion for the adoption of the previous council meeting minutes. Councillor Crokin.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I move the minutes of the City Council meeting held February 21st, 2012 be adopted.
Thanks very much, Councillor Crokin. Did anyone note any errors or omissions in that set of minutes? Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. And could I have a motion for the adoption of the agenda? Councillor Radburn.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I'd move that Council adopt the agenda as presented with the addition of 9.5, 2012 Crushing Program Tender Award.
Thanks very much, Councillor Radburn. This was an item that was added from our special Public Works meeting of this evening. Any discussion or debate on the motion to approve the agenda with the addition of item 9.5? Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. That brings us to the delegation portion of our agenda. And before we open it up to public delegations, tonight's a very special night at the City of Grand Prairie. We have an award to give out. Since 1987, the George Repka Outstanding Achievement Award has served to recognize individuals who have significantly contributed in a voluntary capacity to the improvement of quality of life within our community in the areas of recreation, culture, or social services. The award was named after George Repka, former mayor of Grand Prairie, who himself made a significant volunteer contribution in terms of time and effort to the city. At this time, I'd like to recognize Darlene Repka-Smith and Randy Repka, who are here representing the Repka family. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Previous winners of the Repka Award are people such as Perky McCullough, Roy Borstad, Isabel Campbell, Doug Clarkson, Ernie Radburn, Bill and Margaret Bowes, Jenny Tetro, Marv Bird, Tricia Larder, Kathy Harper, Doreen McDonald, Steve Cooper, Mike Townsend, Bob Normando, Doreen Latham, Oscar Blay, Ray and Joan Jobberty, Dale Williams, Wally Stokes, Linda Smith, Lee Goldie, Travis McNally, Gordon and Hazel Bloomfield, and most recently Jerry Patrician and Lynn and Donna Coulter. So obviously many people who've contributed significantly to our community over the years. Tonight it's my honor to recognize another citizen of Grand Prairie who's given long-standing voluntary service to the community. On behalf of Council and the citizens of Grand Prairie, I'm pleased to be able to present the George Repka Outstanding Achievement Award to Mr. Dan Gorman. Dan, why don't you come down and sit up front here so I can have a seat, and I'm going to say a few nice things about you, and you can just sit there and smile. Dan started volunteering as a coach back in the early to mid 80s for the St. Joe Celtics boys basketball team. He's also coached soccer and most recently volleyball. He spent countless hours researching volleyball, learning, and training to earn his coaching degree so he could help his players be the best they could be. Currently, he's coaching the St. Joe Cena's girls volleyball team. He became their coach in 2003 and continued on until 2006, when he took a few years off due to a family illness and then became coach for the Cenas again in 2009. The team has been very successful with his guidance. In the 6 years Mr. Gorman has coached the Cenas, they've been to the provincial championship tournament 6 times. He's also coached girls Wolves club volleyball and assisted coaching the Lady Wolves volleyball team. Dan has also served the community through his many volunteer capacities at St. Joseph's Church, helping to make the church a welcoming and enjoyable place for youth. He volunteered his time to help develop the Pat Gorman Park in Crystal Lake Estates in honor of his father. And when Dan sold his automotive companies, he began a new career as a financial advisor and volunteered at St. Joe's High School 1 year to teach students some basic finance skills. Being brought up on debit cards, many didn't know how to write a check or set up a budget and many other basic things. Dan also recruited other volunteers to give their time and effort, and that program was very successful. Dan, of course, has always had a passion for sports and fitness and saw the need for a fitness center at St. Joe's High School for faculty and students. He recruited, negotiated, researched, and raised funds, and this past September, backed by the school board, created a beautiful fitness facility for the school. In honor of Dan's contribution, the school named it the Dan Gorman Fitness Center. Dan has also sat on many boards throughout the years, including the Mental Health Board for Northern Alberta, the PDD board, and various industry-related automotive boards. Dan has demonstrated a legacy of long and outstanding service to our community, and I, along with members of council, would like to offer our congratulations to you, Dan. Thank you so much for your contributions. I think there's a few other people too. So, Dan, if you'd like to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor Given, and thanks to all the council. It was certainly a big surprise and a great honor to be awarded. Also, knowing the Repka family for so many years, that was a special touch for me as well, and I thank Darlene and Randy and the Repka family. I guess just recently we've had the loss of such a volunteer legend in Perky McCullough in town, and I'd like to accept this award on behalf of all of the Perky McCulloughs and those countless other volunteers that don't get recognized every day, and our city is so fortunate to have such a wealth of volunteers. And I just, on behalf of all of them, I thank you, and a special thanks to my wife, Tiana, who's always never complained once. And I said this, we're married 30 years this year, and there's never been a time that she hasn't encouraged me to volunteer and support and help the community as I could. And my family, a lot of them who are here tonight, as well as the 2 grandchildren, I thank them as well. But not very often that I'm short of words, but I am tonight. So thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Dan. So we would like to take, Councillor Rice, that was a great suggestion, and maybe if we could ask the members of the Repka family if you'd be willing to come forward and pose for a picture with myself and Dan and the big plaque.
I was going to call you all outside. Hey. Bill, why don't you come too? Sure, come on, Bill. I'll just stand right behind you. As long as I get the front row, I'm happy. I'm almost. Even in parade. Good work, Dad.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, with that piece of exciting and happy business over, we'd move on to the delegation portion of our agenda, which is an opportunity for anybody in the community who would like to come forward and address council on any community-related matter to do so. If there's anybody out there in the crowd that would like to come forward and address council on any community-related matter, we certainly would welcome you to come forward to the presenters table and introduce yourself. I just note that we have some students from GPRC from the business administration class. It appears they're all chicken because none of them are coming forward with any community-related matters. You folks are all just here to watch tonight, right? Okay. Next time you can come and participate. Well, it looks like there's nobody going to come forward for our delegation portion, so we'll close the delegation portion of our agenda and move on to public hearings, of which we have none, unfinished business, we have none, and there are no reports, and so that'll take us into item 9.1, the Public Works Committee from February 21st. Councillor Gustafson?
Thank you, Mayor Gibbon. It's nice to have some kids in here for making some noise for a change. Too bad they all left. I'll move the council receive the minutes of the Public Works Committee meeting held February 21st, 2012.
Thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. Did anyone note any errors or omissions in that set of minutes? Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. And Councillor Gustafson, I think you had one item of business coming up.
Yeah, one more. Thanks, Mayor Gibbon. I'll move council approve to hire a consultant to draft a new security policy that incorporates a developer tiering system, and funding for $20,000 be allocated from the future expenditures reserved to cover consultant fees. And Christine is here to speak to it if you have any questions.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. Any discussion or debate on the motion? Sure. Councillor McLean and then Councillor Rice.
Thank you, Mayor Gibbon. Question I have is, it's a new security policy, but I'm kind of wondering, is it lowering what developers can put in for security? Is that what's going to happen, or is it just for us to see what kind of policy can come about?
Ms. Donnelly, do you want to speak to that? If you could maybe just give us an overview of what the policy would incorporate. Yes, that's yours. Thank you.
Oh,
There you go.
there it goes. Yeah, the proposal that came in from the Urban Developer Institute was to implement a tiering system that would recognize established developers that have a history here that would allow them to have lower securities than what is currently the practice. That is the proposal. So the idea would have a consultant come in, really go through and assess all the risks and the implications of implementing a type of system like that, and then bring back those, all the different information back to council to make a decision if you wish to proceed or not.
Oh, one more question.
Sure, Councillor McLean.
Thank you, Mayor Gibbon. Just one more question. We did have a developer and a builder that had a long history in the city of good building, and because Economic Times went under, and there was security money, and we don't know if enough is going to be to fix all the stuff that was supposed to be done for back alleys and certain roads. Is the city going to be on par on some of these subdivisions of St. John Falls, Summerside, and Copperwood? So that's why I'm wondering about security money. Is it enough as it is now? Is the city going to be going into the pockets to pay some of this to finish the development that went under?
Sure. So, Councillor McLean, you have a question specifically about the
Yeah,
Signature
specific
Falls
questions.
development?
Oh, yeah. 3 of them. A developer that went under. There might not be enough security there to finish grading of back alleys, some road stuff on the front of the roads. So will the city be paying some money, taxpayers, to finish this?
Okay. I think, Councillor
security.
McLean, yeah, it certainly is related to securities, but the motion tonight is to whether we want to hire a consultant
20.
to look at the system. If you have a question about a specific development, then that's probably better
Well-
to refer to administration so they can get all the details on that.
The reason why I was just asking, Mayor, we're looking at paying $20,000 taxpayers' money to lower tier system on security for developers where the city might be paying for one. I just find it kind of the horse before the cart, or the cart before the horse. So that's all.
Okay, thanks very much, Councilor McLean. Any further discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries with 2 opposed. Councillor Gustafson, was there anything else that you wanted to highlight from that set of minutes?
No, thank you, Mayor Gibbon. I'll be happy to entertain any questions.
Okay, any questions for Councillor Gustafson on that set of Public Works minutes? Seeing none, then we'll move on to the Combative Sports Commission from February 21st. Councillor O'Toole, I believe that was your meeting.
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor Gibbon. I like to move council receive the minutes from the Combative Sports Commission meeting held February 21st, 2012.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Did anyone note any errors or omissions in that set of minutes? Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote to approve that set of minutes. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor O'Toole, anything that you care to highlight from the meeting?
Yes, we had one individual apply for a promoter's license, a local person in town, and we had gave conditional approval for an event license to be held on 28th of April for King of the Cage. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. So that would bring us to 9.3, the Community Development Committee of February 21st as well. Councillor Crokin, I think that was your meeting, correct?
Yes, correct. Thank you, Mayor Gibbon. I move council receive the minutes of the Community Development Committee meeting held February 21st, 2012.
Thanks very much, Councillor Crokin. Did anyone note any errors or omissions in that set of minutes? Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Crokin, do you want to carry on with the business?
Yes, thanks, Mayor. I move council approve revisions to policy 201, recreation fees and charges as presented, effective January the 1st, 2012 through December 31st, 2014.
Okay. Thanks very much, Councillor Crokin. Any questions, discussion, or debate? Councillor Rice.
Can you give just a quick overview of the changes? And I know the Piranhas support this, so obviously the new rates were determined in consultation with the users from the pool.
Yes, thanks, Councillor Rice. What it is the difference between a 25-meter and a 50-meter pool charge, length of those
Lane.
the lanes in the pool, yes. So they were very happy that there was a reduction for their lane charge. So the Piranhas were very happy that we changed our rates that were already in the rate schedules.
Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Wong.
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor Gibbon. You said there was a reduction in the cost of the per lane charge, but in our previous policy 201, it showed that our lane charge was $17.85 per lane, and now it's showing for the 50-meter pool $19.61. So, is there how is that a reduction? Is there?
You might have the old paper there.
Mr. Roth, do you want to speak to the blended rate that administration brought forward? Yeah. We can turn that presenter mic on for you. Okay. There you go.
Sure, thanks, Your Worship. So basically, the previous rate was a per lane charge that was blended to factor both 25 and 50 meter configurations. What administration is now proposing is that we separate out and have a 25 meter configuration charge, which is only $13.61 for a sport group, and a 50 meter charge for a lane that's in a 50 meter configuration. We're finding that most groups are using the 25 meter configuration for the most part, and only going to the 50 meter configurations for swim meets and training for specific meets. So this actually is as a cost savings to our partner groups, and also it was something that was requested by the partner groups to take a look at.
Okay, so are there a total of 16 lanes in that 25 meter configuration? Is that right?
Mr. Roth?
There can be. The long and short of it is that each partner or sport group that comes in only pays for as many lanes as they use, and they need at any particular time. So we can have up to 16 lanes, but we could have them using a lot fewer lanes too, depending on their needs.
Okay, that clarifies it quite a bit. I didn't realize that the 25-meter reference was to a configuration, not to the 25-meter pool.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much, Councillor Wong. Councillor McLean.
Thank you, Mayor Given. And I understand Piranhas was for this as well, but they're going to increase to 4% per year, I believe, Gary. And it's kind of where if we're doing really good there, I kind of thought we would have a hold for 1 year and decide. So I'm not really for the increase, so I'll be voting against it. I think we should be looking at, I understand what they did with the 25 meter and the 50 meter, because 50 meter is never hardly used there right now until in a year or two, they have competitions. But I would say we should be at least giving it a year before we start looking at increasing, because maybe this is going to relate to memberships in 6 months, so I cannot support it. Or no, but they're going to increase it every year after this is initiated, 4%.
Okay. Councillor Gustafson.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I noticed that we don't have the Maud Clifford Community Gymnasium on here. Is this something we should have on this fees and charges policy with the rest of our venues?
Mr. Roth?
Your Worship, we do have a set rate for the Maud Clifford Community Gymnasium rentals. I'm just searching through the policy here to determine where it is covered. It is covered. I thought it was covered in here. No, it isn't.
Councillor Gustafson?
Thanks, Mayor Given. Maybe we could just recommend this to a future community development meeting for future discussion.
Sure. Yep. So, and probably if we're going to do that, we'd want to identify both City of Grand Prairie gyms, community gyms, would be the appropriate way to do that. So,
Thank you, Mayor Given.
okay. Thanks very much for identifying that, Councillor Gustafson. Councillor Radburn.
Thank you, Mayor Given. Notwithstanding Alex's question with respect to the fees for the community gyms, which we'll have to research, I certainly will be supporting this motion. I'm really pleased that the administration, I guess, responded to queries and questions and concerns from users like the Piranhas. And they also, that wasn't mentioned, they did do a survey of, I guess, lane charges, pool charges for swim clubs in a number of centers in and around, through the province and into BC, actually. And they chose a fee that was an average fee. So I think that the Piranhas even suggested that was fair. And with respect to the 4%, it is a fact of life. I understand where Councillor McLean is coming, but I think there are lots of other facility charges that will have the same inflationary increase, and that's part of our, I guess, our list for all facilities. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Radburn. Councillor Monroe.
Thanks, Mayor Given. I'll also be in support, voting in favor of this. And I think Councillor Radburn already covered off a number of the points that I was going to cover off, but I'd like to add that the Piranhas were present for the meeting and seemed to have no objection to the 4% increase year over year until 2014. And I mean, to put it into perspective, it's barely over a cost of living index increase. So I think that this is very fair. It puts us in line with what other communities across the province are doing. It's affordable for our swim clubs or for our user groups, and it's what they've requested. I think we've done a good thing here, and I will be voting in favor. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Monroe. Any further discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries with one opposed. Councillor Crokin. You had a couple of other items of business from that meeting.
Thanks, Mayor Given. I move council approve the Grand Prairie Model Racers Association 5-year operating agreement for lands in South Bear Creek.
Thanks very much, Councillor Crokin. Discussion and debate. I see Councillor Rice.
Councillor Crokin, I know at one point they had some concerns over the restricted operating hours that we had first proposed. I know we had some negotiations with them. Did we relax some of those restrictions?
You don't have to defer that. I'm not certain that we did.
If I could, Councillor Rice, that was actually over a year ago.
Yes.
And so we had an interim sort of operating arrangement with them, and council last year chose to lift those restrictions that we had that limited their operating hours. They were finding it was a pretty big impact on their ability to hold races and a
Yes.
number of things on weekends. The new agreement reflects gives them enough time, gives them the operating hours that they need.
Thank you very much.
Any further discussion or debate? Councillor McLean?
Thank you, Mayor Given. I think there was a 1-year lease before this or before that, and there was a few little complaints, but it's a multi-use area. And I think for 5 years, it's a lot of families that use this facility, and they actually have competitions. And it's a very family-oriented area, slow pitch, the new BMX trike going there. There's lots of mini golf, so I'll be a supporter of the 5 years.
Great. Thanks very much, Councillor McLean. Any further discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Crokin?
Thanks, Mayor Given. I hope I don't mean to be taking up the whole meeting with the community development, but it is very, very important. I move council approve the amended agreement with the Rotary Club of Grand Prairie for the operation and maintenance of the RV park and campground in Muskosipi Park.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Crokin. Any discussion or debate on this motion? Councillor Rice?
I can probably say this since I would be one of the few non-Rotarians around the table. I really have to commend the Rotary Club in the city in this agreement. I think that campgrounds is one of the most attractive and best maintained campgrounds you could find any place. So I certainly endorse this motion.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Councillor Crokin?
Thanks, Mayor Given. And the area in question, non-Rotarian Councillor Rice, is the area down the hill, and it's to reflect the changes from last year. It's to help to have public coming through the Rotary Campground. There's a fence there. It's still going to be property maintained by Muskosipi Park, but just going to help with security.
Thanks, Councillor Crokin. Councillor Radburn?
And just another quick note that the college was involved in these discussions as well, so it meets the college's needs too in terms of their staff having access for part of the park there. So I think the three organization partnership is a good one. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Radburn. Any further discussion and debate on the motion? Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Crokin, you're not done yet, are you?
Thanks, Mayor Given. I move council join the call to request the provincial government adopt a poverty reduction strategy, and further, that the mayor send letters to the premier and appropriate MLAs confirming the city's involvement as a contributor to the provincial poverty reduction strategy.
Thanks very much, Councillor Crokin. Councillor Rice?
Sorry, I don't mean to speak on everything, but I have serious concerns. You know, we're in the middle, we're leading up to a provincial election where we as municipalities have pledged ourselves to very strongly put forward the local matters campaign where we you know, have to educate everybody so they are familiar with the fact that only 8 to 9 cents of every tax dollar paid in this province goes back to municipalities. And that includes taxes. We can't function like that. I get concerned when on one hand we're saying we need this money, and by the way, and maybe some for that and some for this. I guess I worry that we need to remain focused. Well, this is a very, very worthwhile strategy. And I'll certainly support the motion, but I do think we need to be careful we don't become scattered and that we become very focused in our input to the province.
Any further discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you, and that motion carries. Thank you very much. Councillor Crokin?
Thank you, Mayor Given. I also move council approve the city's participation in the Mayor's Poetry Challenge to be held in March or April 2012, and further direct administration to work with the Grand Prairie Public Library to identify potential local poets for the Poetry Challenge. This, I believe, was coming to us from the city of Regina, or to you, Mayor Gibbon.
Thanks very much, Councillor Crokin. Certainly the City of Regina, the Mayor of the City of Regina identified a few communities, not all cities in Alberta, so it was actually nice to be asked. But they're certainly they're looking to highlight the importance of poets and the literary arts, and they have asked communities, a few communities across Canada, to have a poet attend a council meeting, read the poem, and have that poem make up a part of the official minutes of City Council. So it seems like a pretty simple thing to do that would shine a light on the importance of the literary arts and also the strength of the talent that we have here in the Peace Country. So I would encourage council members to support the motion. Councillor Crokin?
Thanks, Mayor Gibbon. And I would suggest that one poet just received an award this evening. Dan Gorman is a very talented poet. I have read some of his writings, so there might be a candidate right there for a poem.
Okay. Any further discussion or debate on the motion? Questions or comments? Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Crokin, was there anything else that you wanted to highlight from that set of minutes?
No, I think it's been covered pretty well. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much, Councillor Crokin. That brings us to 9.4, the Environment Committee from February 27th. And Councillor Munro.
Thanks very much, Mayor Given. I'll move that Council receive the minutes of the Environment Committee meeting held February 27th, 2012.
Thanks very much, Councillor Munro. Did anyone note any errors or omissions in that set of minutes? Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Munro.
Thanks, Mayor Given. I'll move that Council proclaim Thursday, March 15th, 2012 as Bottled Water Free Day in Grand Prairie. And if I could just say a few things here. The date initially from the committee was directed as March 10th. We've since learned that that is the date that the U.S. uses. March 15th aligns us with the Canadian date of this event. Bottled Water Free Day is it's not us trying to ban bottled water or anything like that. It's just making people realize that there are alternatives to filling up our landfills. The water that we get from Aquaterra is very safe, and we would want to encourage people to, when possible, try and avoid using bottled water. It just once again adds to the landfill. So just an awareness day, and hopefully we can pass this through.
Thanks very much, Councillor Munro. Appreciate the motion. Any discussion or debate on the motion? Councillor Wong.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Given. I definitely am going to support this motion. As Councillor Munro stated, it is for awareness. One thing that bottled water does do in a community is it undermines the people's confidence in the quality of their tap water. And with 50% of the world not having clean potable water, we should really be proud of the fact that our water is drinkable. It's of high quality. Especially in Canada, we have one of the highest standards for drinking water. And I'm proud to say that Council has switched to tap water, has for at least a couple of years that I remember, and it was a great move for us because we're saving on all the plastic that's being recycled in the community. And I think everyone else, if you're still drinking bottled water, on that one day, try switching just to tap water. I think you won't notice that there is much of a difference in terms of quality.
Thanks very much, Councillor Wong. So any further discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Monroe, did you have something to go along? Now that that's officially approved by council, do you have something to go along with that?
Yes, thanks, Mayor Gibbon. I understand that there is a little bit of promotional footage to be displayed for council and for our guests here in the room tonight.
Yes, that's right. Hi, I'm Mayor Bill Gibbon. At the City of Grand Prairie, we were facing a really difficult challenge. Over the course of the year, we have a lot of meetings, and city council members come and we talk a lot. And so obviously our throats get really, really dry, and everybody needs a drink of water now and then. But over the course of those hundreds and hundreds of meetings, council members were using thousands and thousands of bottles of water. We knew that it was a huge waste because of the transportation cost and the recycling costs of all these water bottles. So we got a committee together to try and decide what we could possibly do. And after thinking about it for hours and hours and hours, we finally managed to come up with a solution. I'll show you. We think it's pretty ingenious, pretty inventive, and quite unique. It's called tap water. So that's the first of 3 videos that the Environmental Sustainability Department and myself shot, and we'll be releasing those over the course of the next week, so people can watch the City of Grand Prairie website, the City of Grand Prairie YouTube channel, and the Environmental Sustainability Department's website page on the City of Grand Prairie website for the future videos. We thought we'd do something a little bit fun just to kind of drive the point home that there are options other than those wasteful plastic water bottles. Thanks very much for the indulgence, Council. Councillor Monroe, just have a second. There we go. If you'd like to move on to 9.4.2.
Sure. Looking forward to those other couple of videos. I'll move that council proclaim 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Saturday, March 31st, 2012 as Earth Hour. And just to speak to this briefly, this is something that we've done for a number of years here. Once again, it's an awareness issue on trying to conserve energy. And to top it off this year, Mayor Gibbon had a challenge from Mayor Flewelling down in Red Deer, who's Red Deer is obviously doing this challenge, and he's calling us out on our green grouch abilities, and I think we need to basically show up Red Deer here more than anything. So,
I think I'd agree with you. Any discussion or debate on the motion?
What do we do?
Councillor Rice, did you have a question? Sorry.
So what do we do? What do you want us to do on March 31st?
Councillor Monroe.
Thanks very much. Basically, we're requesting that everyone take the hour to turn off the lights, conserve energy wherever possible. The city will be doing the same. Obviously, we will not be turning out the lights at the multiplex or anywhere where safety is a concern, but the lights here at City Hall will be off completely, with the exception of the parking lot lights, I believe. And we're just asking businesses and residents to do the same, as to take that hour, really think about how you are using energy and trying to conserve it as best as we possibly can. Every little bit does count.
Thanks.
So,
Councillor Rice.
Well, so when the hour's up and everybody turns their power back on, aren't you going to spike the price?
You'd have to ask ATCO about that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Thanks very much, Councillor Monroe. Any further discussion or debate?
Never the part where I never got my grant.
Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Monroe, was there anything else to highlight from that set of minutes?
Thanks, Mayor Given. Just a couple brief things here, or pardon me, one in particular. We had, at our meeting, we had a delegation of Mercedes Bromberger, who is the acting Chief Operating Officer for Aquaterra. She indicated that the week prior to the meeting that they had successfully shredded and recycled over 52 tons of drywall. As I understand it, this product is being sent to feedlots, not for feedstock, but for the use of bedding for animals, etc., like that. So it's good to see that we are diverting some waste out of the landfill, and this is a very positive step to reducing our footprint in the landfill. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Monroe. There's nothing else for Environment Committee. That would bring us to correspondence items, of which we had... Oh, excuse me. Thank you. Yes, Special Public Works. I see Councillor Gustafson with the microphone. Sorry. Item 9.5, the Special Public Works.
Got to do a little bit of rock talk here. I'll move the council award Indie Rock Holdings Limited the contract for the 2012 crushing program in the amount of $302,400, including GST, as a tender meeting the city's specifications. Further to that, I'll move that funding be allocated from the 2012 crushing program.
Thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. Thanks for that catch. Councillor Rice?
Shouldn't we be making these motions in a consistent manner? Like sometimes it's GST out, sometimes it's GST in. And since we get all our GST back, shouldn't they all be GST out and it would be consistent? Just a comment.
Yeah, thanks very much, Councillor Rice. That has been an ongoing thing since the GST change was made from the federal government. So I think we'll take that back to our report writers and ask them to
thank you.
Pick one. Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Any further discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Gustafson, I think that was all the items of business from that Special Public Works meeting. That would then bring us to items of correspondence, of which we had none. Delegation business, we had the one delegation, and I think that business was summed up pretty nicely with the presentation of the award. And again, my congratulations to Mr. Dan Gorman and his family. Certainly is an honor to be recognized among all those other Grand Prairie residents that have contributed so much to the community. I want to pass on our congratulations to Mr. Gorman. Item 12, notice of motion, we had none, and that would bring us to council member reports. And I believe we had the Grand Spirit Foundation, Councillor Radmer.
Thank you, Mayor Given. Just a quick report on the Management Committee meeting, Grand Spirit Foundation Management Committee meeting of February 24th. 3 items just to note. First of all, we our 2011 year audit was completed, and the results will be presented at the board meeting next week. We're getting close with respect to our bus, City/Grand Spirit Foundation shared partnership bus. The decals are on, registration insurance in place. City's installing a radio, orientation for drivers is happening, and will be fully operational in March here. And we're reviewing rent ceilings for seniors in self-contained apartments in our local communities. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Radburn. Councillor O'Toole, you had the Philip J. Curry Dinosaur Museum.
Thank you very much, Mayor Given. The dinosaur meeting that we had was on the 1st of March, and some of the topics of discussion were we had a group of people in New York City that were having a party on the 1st of March. They were Friends of Canada, which are Canadian residents living in New York. They were hosting a party to fundraise for the Philip J. Curry Museum. Also coming up here on the 21st of March, the Clan Curry Society and Canadian Friends of Scotland are holding an event. It's a fundraiser once again for the Philip J. Curry Dinosaur Museum. And I'll just tell you, Lord Bruce, the eldest son of current Earl of Elgin and Kincardine, will be present at this event. So not only is it reaching all of North America, it's hitting Europe as well. Just to go a little further with the events, Saturday, May 26, 2012, well, there'll be a vintage tractor parade, and breakfast will be starting at 8 o'clock and go until 9:30. At 9:30 till 11:30, the tractor parade will go from the Wembley Recreation Center to the Philip J. Curry Dinosaur Museum site. After 11:30 till 3 o'clock, there will be a barbecue, family activities, and such. And I think, I better tell you, we've got Gord Brandford is going to be the headliner at the Dino Ball. So not only do we have Emerson Drive, Gord Brandford will be signed on.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. And Peace Library System, Councillor Crokin, I believe you had an update for us from the last Peace Library System? Yeah.
Thanks, Mayor Given. Before the meeting, I handed out a couple of handouts because it's Peace Library Systems with their $2.5 million budget is quite lengthy. But anyway, just one thing I'd like to highlight out of the highlights is that the devastating fire that took place in the Slave Lake Rotary Club Public Library. Peace Library System worked behind the scenes, and they cataloged over 35,000 items that were donated to the library by generous individuals and organizations to the country. So kudos to the Peace Library Systems. And one letter also I attached to every councillor, and it was an appreciation letter from Martine Pibiak from Eaglesham, saying she has access to the library on her computer from home, and then she can pick up and drop off the books at the community library in Eaglesham or in Spirit River or back in Grand Prairie. So there's a lot of good work being done behind the scenes, and a great credit to our leader, Linda Duplessis. So thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Councillor Crokin. And that'll bring us to Council Roundtable. And Councillor Crokin, since you have the microphone in your hand, why don't we start on that side?
Okay, thank you, Mary Given. We'll start off February the 21st, the tasting the North Peace event out at the county's tech center. That was a very enjoyable evening. Then the next day, Growing the North, we met, there was an abundance of speakers, but we met with Don Caney. He's the CEO for Canfor, and a very delightful meeting with a very powerful man, and things look really good for their company in our area. Again, on the 23rd, Growing the North, and one of the highlighted speakers there was Dr. Linda Duxbury. She was enlightening to tell us about the baby boomers and the boomerang boomers, and there was way too many acronyms, but she was a very good and exciting speaker. The next day, the 25th, no, that would be 2 days later, I went to Grant Cache on behalf of the mayor and council and brought greetings to their grand opening of their multiplex, which a couple of the councilors says it's not quite as big as yours, but I said it doesn't matter. It's a beautiful facility in their great community. Oh, and the scissors didn't work to cut the ribbon, and one of the councilors couldn't cut the ribbon, so I just happened to have my hunting knife, and I cut the ribbon. Got a picture of me, too, actually. On the 27th, I attended with other councilors to the introduction to the new website, launch. I thought it was lunch, but it was launch. And so the mayor introduced us to that. Later that evening, I attended the APEGA dinner and inductions to their association, which Kevin McLean would really have liked to have seen all the lobster that was there. On the 29th, I attended the annual AGM downtown breakfast, Business Association breakfast, and it was a dietary breakfast because I was a few minutes late. It was all gone. Thanks, Helen. That was really a good job, actually. Kept me under my 4,000 calories that day. On March the 1st, I attended at Center 2000, it was a breakfast, the TD Economic Outlook, their economic forecaster. He was from, forget me, I think Quebec, Montreal, Quebec. And the figures that he showed us for Grand Prairie look very, very good for our city and surrounding municipalities. Later on, I attended the launch of the Caribou Child and Youth Center above in the PACE building, the old RCMP building, and great job to put that all together, Jackie and her crew, a combination of our municipality and the province. Then there was a flag raising ceremony. I was behind 4 or 5 buses over in the parking lot. And then later I offered a tender upstairs, and then later I'm not sure how I fit all this in, but later I went to the Legends Lounge and attended the chamber mixer and won a fairly nice prize, actually, 10 skates for families in the, I don't know where my skates are, but that was very nice. And then later I attended the Stars of Hope dinner at Center 2000, and congratulations to one of them, Rob Patrone, for winning the Chairman's Award with Devon. And then on the second Saturday, I attended the Peace Library meeting, executive committee meeting. And then today we met this morning with the 2 Wild Rose candidates, which council has always met with every person that wants to run or is running to see what their views are on the benefits for them if they get in for the city of Grand Prairie. That's everything. That's how my week, or was that 2 weeks? Week went. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Crokin. I think we usually have 2 weeks in between city council meetings. Councillor Gustafson.
Thank you, Mayor Given. As this will be fairly easy, as I've been away for the last couple of weeks here. However, the last couple of days I've been working on the ice for the inaugural Grand Prairie Pond Hockey Tournament here in Grand Prairie. This is a fundraiser for Sunrise House on Sunday here in Grand Prairie, so I encourage you all to come down to the Elks Hall and enjoy some watching the fun. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. Councillor Radburn.
Thanks, Mayor Given. Looking forward to seeing John skate. Let me know when that's going to happen. All right, February 21st, 22nd, 23rd, Growing the North Conference. 22nd, also I was there for the meeting with Don Keene from Canfor. February 25th, I went for an hour to the Maple Sugar Festival at Muskogee Park. 27th was the city website launch and the APEGA induction banquet. Just a lovely meal, and it was nice to see induction of new engineers and geologists, etc. 29th, Downtown Association annual meeting and breakfast. March 1st, Chamber of Commerce TD Bank economic outlook. And then I also attended on behalf of Council, Regional Seniors Transportation Strategy meeting. We're looking at a couple of tangibles from this group. Would be developing a senior transportation guide, and we're reviewing a senior wellness clinic presentation that includes senior transportation. Also, it was noted that NADC is doing some research on transportation and health access in terms of how that is impacting access to health services in our region. Regional Sustainability Plan release in the afternoon that day, and then in the evening, United Way Stars of Hope Appreciation Dinner. Caribou Child and Youth Center opening on the 2nd. The information session with the local Wild Rose Party candidates today. Thank you, Mayor Given.
Thanks very much, Councillor Radburn. Councillor O'Toole.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mayor Given. My events were pretty much coinciding with the rest of my colleagues. February 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, we were at the I was at the Taste of the North, plus Growing the North Conference, and we did meet with Don Kane, the CEO of Canfor. Also, Linda Duxbury, I ended up visiting with her quite a bit after, and ended up taking her to the airport. On the 24th, I attended a tender opening. The 27th, I was here for the City of Grand Prairie's new website launch. 28th, I was at the I got involved with the city health and wellness group of people, and I supported their event that day. I won't tell you what it was, but we had a good time. On the 29th, the Downtown Association AGM, and congratulations to the winners of the awards there. I'm sure Helen has got some comments to make about that. On March 1st, Chamber breakfast with the TD Economic Outlook, Regional Sustainability Plan presentation. I also attended the United Way 4th Annual STARS event, and also snuck in and got the Chamber mixer at the Coca-Cola Center. On the 2nd, I was here at City Hall with the Franco-Alberta flag raising ceremony, and it was neat to see 250 people approximately in attendance here. The parking lot was a little full. And today I also was with Ethan Jarvis and Todd Lowen at the Wild Rose Party presentation to Council. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Councillor McLean.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I just want to say thank you to the business students from GPRC showing up. My wife did take business there for a couple of years, and your career can go in a vast area. She's now a chartered financial planner, so you can go in many different areas, and thank you for coming tonight. February 21st, 22nd, 23rd, I also attended the Grow in the North conference. Taste of the Peace, which had local growers as well as businesses. Community Futures was a part of this. As well, the next day we had a meeting with Don Kane, CEO of Canfor. It went really well, and he stressed about labor shortages in the future, and it was really good discussion. As well, the other one is Northern Gateway Alliance. Talked to John, who is leading it. I've been an Alliance member since last year, and his company has vision for Alberta, BC, and for all of Canada. And if you're interested, you can go Northern Gateway Alliance and become a member. Gas and oil is big in this area, and we need another line other than the States of moving our fuel. February 27th, I was at City Hall for the kickoff of the new city webpage. Looks really good, and I'm glad they did it. This council actually put forward to it and move it forward, and it was, I think, 10 years since it was updated, so with technology, 10 years is a long time. As well, February 28th, 29th, March 1st, March 2nd, I attended the Alberta Recycling Spring Seminar in Banff. I just want to talk on a couple of issues. Number one, we had a tour of a construction project in Canmore. We hear a lot about our drywall being separated and everything, but there is some areas in Alberta that are actually exceeding us quite a bit. The company was a Spring Creek Mountain Village. Had a tour with manager Terry Birch, explained the operation. They had about 5 or 6 bins separating wood, metal, drywall, cardboard. They are now breaking even, so it's not costing them any money. And all this has to do with how tipping fees are. It's weighted to if it's separated on incentives for diversion from the landfill. They had 2 big apartments they're building. They've already built there. They had 50% diverted from the landfill. And the one they just finished, and they're on another one, they had over 80% diverted from the landfill. So that was one. I got a couple more. Another one, we had a session on called Profitable Poop. And it's called Enviro Systems Canada Limited, and Rob Sampson's the president. Wholly owned private Canadian company. Holds the Canadian license for biosolids management technology. Been in business for 15 years. They only sell to commercial. They cannot produce enough to sell for residential. And the reason I'm bringing this up, it's for fertilizer. And Banff is opening up a new facility. They're going to be signing the next month. And I think 20% is from waste from humans. In 1 month, they went searching. They sold all their product that this plant's going to produce in Banff. And it's their first one in Alberta. And it was asked, the question was asked, well, who was your customer? They said, that's our business. We're in the business of selling fertilizer. And within 1 month, we sold all the product that they can produce. And Banff is looking at their regions of coming involved. So Banff's going to be watched over this quite a bit. Another one was, and they had a spot there was ECCO Waste Systems. And through reclamation and recycling of construction and demolition waste materials, they're opening a new facility in Calgary. Basically, when a building's torn down, they go through it all and separate it at this new facility. And they're going to support the City of Calgary's goal to reduce the amount of waste entering Calgary landfill by 80%. We got a long way to go, but I think we can get there within 3 to 5 years. Helping to create a more sustainable city. So ECCO, they're a private company. But one thing I got from them, and I've done a lot of shingling over the years, was they're holding shingles in the landfill until they can use them. And when they break them up, they actually take the metal out of them, and they only do it when their paving's happening this summer, because they find once they crush them, the sun will heat it back together again. So they only do it when the customer needs it. And they're using around Calgary 3 to 5% for their paving projects of shingles from roofs, asphalt and fiberglass. So not only are they getting paid for the tipping fee, they're getting paid for tipping fee going out. So I think and shingles are more. So I think this, and the machine costs about $400,000. So if Northwest had it or Aquaterra, they could probably use all landfills, because there's pavement happening in every community. So this is another great thing I've seen. And one last one, conclusion. There was an individual there speaking there from Slave Lake. I don't have his name here, I forgot to put it down. And it was very emotional. He was the head fellow for their landfill sites. And just a couple things I took from that. Overnight, their landfill use increased 800% from the fire. They had 4,500 fridges and stoves, and everyone had meat in them and everything, and so they had to be the material taken out and then gas taken out of them. So this was a really good what he spoke on the Slave Lake. So that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor McLean. Councillor Wong?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Given. On February 21st to 23rd, I was at the Growing the North Conference. On February 24th, I attended a meeting with Kay Shaw and Sons for the Center 2000 renovations, and I'm pleased to say that with their help, they're going to be able to keep us right on budget. On Monday, February 27th, I was at the city for the debut of the new city's website. On the 27th, I attended the APEGA induction ceremony, and I just wanted to say congratulations to Kim Cochran and Tamara Zagumena, who are with the City of Grand Prairie, and they earned their professional engineer designation. On February 29th, I attended the Downtown Association AGM at Mingles on Main. I'd also like to congratulate them on all their successes as well. They always have initiatives going out every year, and if you do look at just even the past 5 years of progress in the downtown area, I think you're going to be very impressed. If you've lived here longer and you compare what downtown Grand Prairie looks like now to 10 years ago, you'll be extremely impressed. On Thursday, March 1st, I was at the TD Economic Outlook presentation. Also on March 1st, I attended the Aquaterra landfill gas to energy announcement, which was a fantastic initiative. Basically, they're going to collect and burn the methane gas from the landfill and convert it into electricity. And that will be used in their water treatment plant, and any excess electricity will be fed into the grid. Now, when methane is burned to create energy, it actually reduces the greenhouse gas emissions by up to 90%. So that's just a fantastic thing, and the real big benefit is they expect to have significant savings on their utility costs. So anyone interested in that, they can just visit the Aquaterra website. They have a really neat animated video, and it really breaks it down into real simple terms. That's on aquaterra.ca. Also March 1st, I attended the Regional Sustainability Plan presentation at the Montrose Cultural Centre, as well as the United Ways Stars of Hope Appreciation Dinner. And I want to congratulate all the award winners that evening. There were 6 of them. March 2nd, I was running a conference call for the Mighty Peace Watershed Alliance. Their communications committee met for a few hours just to discuss the communications plan leading up to the AGM on March 24th. Finally, 2 more things. March 2nd, I was at City Hall for the Franco-Albertan flag raising ceremony, which was one of the best ceremonies I've ever been pleased to be a part of. There were, I don't know how many kids out there, but you know, the Francophone school were able to bus a bunch of students out, and I know they had a great time and we had a great time. Finally, this morning, several members of the council met with the Wild Rose Party candidates, and I was present for that.
Thanks very much, Councillor Wong. Councillor Rice. Councillor Rice, do you want to get your mic?
I attended the Tasting the North event. It was very, it was really something to be proud of when you look at the foodstuffs that are produced right here in Grand Prairie. I was a judge for the Horizon 4-H multi-club speaking contest, and some pretty impressive kids out there. I attended the APEGA induction ceremony, and again, I'll ask the mayor to pass on our congratulations to Kim and Tamara. I was here for the city website launch, attended the presentation on the regional sustainability plan, attended the Chamber of Commerce TD Canada Trust Economic Outlook breakfast. He was very entertaining. Economists have a tendency to be quite dry, and he wasn't at all. He was very entertaining, as well as informational. I was here for the raising of the Vancouver, Alberta flag. It was it was again it was quite emotional when you had all these 3 busloads of little children singing "O Canada" in French as the flag went up. It was very moving. Met this morning with the Wild Rose candidates and took in the opening of the Caribou Child Care Center. And on Monday, I will be attending the Political Action Day in Edmonton. That's it.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Councillor Monroe?
Thanks, Mayor Given. On the 21st, I also attended the Tasting the North event out at Evergreen Park. The 22nd, attended the meeting with CEO Don Kane from Canfor. On the 23rd, I had the opportunity to do another tour of the multiplex. This time I was touring with the Alberta Bottle Depot Association and the Beverage Container Recycling Association. Many of you may recall, they gave us a grant about a year ago of, I believe it was about $55,000 to put recycling containers throughout the multiplex. Those containers are now in place. I believe there's close to 50 of them, I think, and they look really good. And it looks like they're doing a great job of collecting our trash and sorting it out there. So the folks from these associations, I think, were very appreciative that their money was well spent at the multiplex. On the 27th, I brought greetings on behalf of Mayor Given and Council to President Jim Smith of the Apega Association at the dinner there. It was a lovely time. On March 1st, I also attended the TD Canada Trust Economic Outlook breakfast put on by the Chamber of Commerce. That afternoon, I was also present for the regional sustainability plan, and hats off to Michelle for pulling that together and getting everyone in the room, and hopefully this plan will be something that can help the entire region grow. Chamber mixer later that night at the Hockey Legends Lounge. March 2nd, I was off to Edmonton for the AUMA Environment and Sustainability Committee that I'm working on. A couple of things that will be coming forward from that is some drinking water safety plans that are being developed and rolled out across the province, as well as we had some draft plans on a brownfield working group, which I know is a concern to a number of us as far as the brownfield properties across the province are concerned. Just another note, there was one of the things that we were discussing there were some water rates. Ottawa, for example, is expecting their water rate to go up by 74% over the course of the next 10 years, and this is as a result of full cost accounting. A lot of municipalities are switching to this, and it's just a sign of the times, I think. And then to wrap it all up, my daughter Amy won the silver medal at the Jasper Junior Olympics this last weekend, and that's on the downhill slalom event. Thank you.
Well, congratulations. Does she take after her dad? Are you quick downhill too?
Yeah, not on skis.
Thanks very much, Councillor Monroe. A number of the events that I attended have obviously been reported on, so I'll try to be relatively brief. On the 22nd and 23rd, I also attended the Growing the North conference and the meeting with CEO of Canfor, Don Kane. One note for council, during the conference I had an opportunity to play chauffeur, and had a chance to drive Infrastructure Minister Jeff Johnson from the airport to the Evergreen Park. I was disappointed about the amount of traffic at the airport intersection. I was hoping there would have been more, but during the drive, I had a chance to lobby him for everything from traffic lights to schools and a number of other items. So certainly appreciated the opportunity to do that. And I would like to pass on my congratulations to the organizers of the Growing the North Conference. It's an absolutely fantastic event. The level of speakers are really something that that you have to attend to believe. CEOs of large corporations, world-renowned speakers in their subject areas, and I have to admit that I honestly probably undervalued the conference just because it was here at home. As it was coming up, I thought, oh yeah, it's that conference that we put on, but really it's something that I would have traveled across the province to go to, given the quality of the speakers. So I hope the community certainly appreciates the opportunity that we have, and thanks very much to the organizers who put that on. On February the 22nd in the evening, I attended a supper for the speakers at the Growing the North Conference. And then on Sunday, February 26th, I attended the first ever Grand Prairie Soup, GP Soup event held at the LBX Center. This is something that came directly out of the for the Love of Cities event that we held in January. There were about 34 participants that were there, and they heard 4 different pitches for community-based ideas. And the winner was a kindergarten teacher who wanted to make birdhouses with her kindergarten class and then take them out into the community. She received $400 to make her project a reality, and so it's good to see that happened. The next GP Soup will be happening on Sunday, March 25th, I believe, is the date, and would encourage the community to come out and join in that. I also attended at the city's launch of the new website, and on Wednesday, February 29th, the Downtown Association's AGM. The next morning, Thursday, March 1st, I attended at the BNI Business Networking International kickoff. It was the charter of a new club here in Grand Prairie, is a club meant to connect business owners to one another and generate leads and referrals, and it was great to see the turnout. The number of people there from small businesses, big businesses, but I think it really speaks to the entrepreneurial nature of Grand Prairie, and certainly a welcome addition to the community. Later that day, I attended Aquaterra's announcement of the landfill gas capture system, which is the first, as has been mentioned, first of its kind in Alberta, and is something that should benefit Aquaterra consumers, as it will keep the lid on electricity costs, and will therefore help keep the lid on the need for increasing rates for Aquaterra. So certainly appreciate the innovative nature of Aquaterra looking at this project. Later that day, I was also at the Regional Sustainability launch, and let's see. On February the 2nd, I had a chance to meet with representatives from a provincial health care provider, Covenant Health. They're looking at expanding into the Peace region, and they wanted to see what some of the opportunities might be in Grand Prairie, and certainly we'd look forward to having them should they choose to come to Grand Prairie. Later that day, I attended at the Caribou Centre launch and tour, and brought greetings at the Franco-Albertan flag raising. Just a note on that, many people may not know this, but Grand Prairie actually has the second largest Francophone association in all of Alberta, or second only to Edmonton, larger than Calgary. And I think it's an important opportunity for us to recognize how important French heritage is to our region and to our community. So I certainly appreciated the opportunity to do that. And, you know, there's a reason why you should never go off script when you're doing a speech. Because I heard one of the kids say, geez, you didn't do any of it in French, and right there in front of 250 kids and their teachers, I committed to doing a good portion of next year's speech in French. So if anybody's interested, you can come out next year and see how my practicing went between now and then. Later that afternoon, I had an opportunity to have a coffee and sit-down meeting with our MLA, Wayne Drysdale. And on Saturday, March 3rd, I attended the Crohn's and Colitis fundraiser, which was very well attended. And then this morning, I was with a number of other council members when we met with the Wild Rose candidates in the upcoming provincial election. And with that, I believe that's all of our council business. Thanks very much, and we'll call the meeting adjourned.